Alright, grass kids, so a lot of people struggle with clover, and I want to do a clover video again. I've done some in the past, but I'm sure some people would call me out and say, oh, but you got so much clover in your yard. Yeah, so here's the thing. There's a couple mistakes you can make when trying to kill clover and get it under control. I've made them, and it's kind of because, in my opinion, clover is one of those, it's a nuisance, but it's not entirely terrible. So last year in particular, I was busy. I didn't go after the clover. This year, I'm starting to feel a little bit better. We're getting better weather, so I'm starting to tackle it. And I actually, for the first time ever, I think for first time ever on my channel, I did the technique first so I can show you guys the result, and then I'll show you exactly what I did. But yeah, usually I'll be like, oh, here's what you do, and then you guys call me out and say, oh, you never showed us the after. Does it really work? So here's the example. Here's a patch of clover. You can see it's all dying. It's not completely gone, but it is dying. Now, obviously, I have not mowed. I'll be doing that in a moment, but I wanted to show you the clover. And you can see this clover here is alive, and I'll explain why. But I had a patch here. This is where it gets a little crazy. There's a bunch here, a whole lot over here. You can see it's really starting to die out. And this is like so thick. This is where clover can become a nuisance, because look how thick this is. There's like no real grass there. So the grass is gonna have to fill in, and that's not good. But some people like clover. You know, this isn't a video on you have to kill the clover or you can't. It's whatever you feel like. So I'm gonna mow the lawn, and then I'll show you the technique I use and things to watch out for and stuff like that. But let's get this mowed, because it's looking gnarly. This is the time of the year when really I should be mowing twice a week, but this year I only got time to do it once a week, so I'm lucky if I even have time to do it once a week. It is crazy. Just if you have kids, just hope they're not talented at anything, because when they start to get into different sports and dance and all that stuff, the better they are, the more time it takes from you as a parent. Is that terrible? I love my kids. It's just a joke, guys. Please don't get upset. You know, Daddy likes to make jokes. I'm gonna be in trouble for that. Where's the tripod? That's right, we're going gas today. So that sure can, because of that tube there, I spill in that guy quite a bit. So I feel like it's a great gas can for big mowers, but for homeowners, I find I waste way more time trying to be careful not to spill it than anything else. Alright, so I mowed the yard. Don't worry about this spot. I'll talk about that at the end. I'm trying to stay focused on dealing with the clover, because the title of this video is going to be clover, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So, alright, so what I'm going to do now, ideally, if you can wait a couple days after mowing, it's better to do it that way, but in a couple days it's supposed to rain, so that's not going to work. But you can still see, at least with clover after mowing, still got plenty of leaves. And now you notice the clover is not completely dead yet, but it takes multiple applications, and that's where most people fail with clover. They spray it one time and it doesn't kill at all. Now some of it is because the clover is a little bit resilient and needs extra doses, but some of it, if you look at how many leaves are in here, it's possible that when you're spraying it, you're not touching it at all. So it's easy to miss spots, especially because it blends in. So what I like to do is, you call it a blanket spray. Basically, you're putting a blanket of the spray over the whole yard. And the easiest way to do that is with a hose end sprayer. All right, here we go. This is what I like to use, the Ortho Weed Be Gone CCO, or Chickweed Clover Oxalis Killer. Now, this is great for a couple of reasons. One, it's ready to go in this container. You can hear it swishing around. Two, you use what you need and then you can put it back on your shelf and it's sealed in here. You don't have excess chemicals to deal with. And three, makes it really easy to broadcast spray or blanket spray this, because there's a lot of area I want to cover, and you can mix it in a little pump sprayer and go that way, but I find this is way easier. So let's get the hose out and I'll show you just how easy it is. Oh. Now, something I'm not sure about, but I always run the hose until it's cold water, just because I'm not sure if spraying this with super hot water is gonna hurt the lawn any more or less, but I personally, that's what I always do. So another thing I like to do, just there, I took the hose off, stretched it out all the way to the farthest point and back. Just makes it a little bit easier. And then it's just popping this guy on. You see the settings, there's off, water, and on. So what I always do, even though I've used this many times, is I'll put it to water and I'll get used to how wide the pattern is, and then I'll go to on. And it's just because each of these can spray a tiny bit different and your water pressure can be different. So it's good to just see how far you're shooting it out, especially with my wife's lovely flowers all around. And now that's the reason why my edges aren't done, is because I'm avoiding my wife's flowers, and I'll show you the solution for that. All right, this is on tight, this is on off. Put the water on. And also sometimes there's air in here, so going to water you can get the air out. All right, so let's see if I can get on. It's pretty wide coverage, so it's hitting the flowers here and it's hitting that edge, so you just gotta be careful where you're spraying. I wonder if I could handheld this. Let's try handhelding this. Just like anything, you want to do the edges first. You're literally going over the whole yard and blanket spraying it. Just going like this. Stay away from the flowers. Boom, boom, boom. Trying to make sure I'm away from the flowers, getting good coverage. All right. Hose is getting a little tight. It's a little awkward. Let's see if I can switch hands. Here we go. I must look like insane. Okay, here we go. Keep it away from the blueberry bushes. All right. Notice I'm also walking backwards. Just trying to keep it on the clover. You don't want the spray to brush off the clover, because the way clover petals are, it's really easy. Woo. So there's a good spot, but I gotta get around this tree, so. So again, just going backwards, staying off the road. Getting windy, so I'm trying to adjust to that. Whew. Oh boy. Usually I'll have one hand on the hose and one hand on this, but trying to hold the camera, that's not working, so it's a little tougher. Here. Did that edge, we already did that. Alright, so the rest I'm gonna do. I'm staying off that clover. I'll put this guy back here. All right, so a few things you'll notice. My pants are all wet. Technically speaking, I'm pretty 99% sure that it's because the washer in there, it's not twisted right, so it's leaking. But as a precaution, after I do this stuff, if I get any liquids on me, I take a shower. It's just a good measure. You can wear gloves and all that stuff. But I find with these, generally, you don't get anything on you unless you're not paying attention to where you're spraying, but still wear pants and all that stuff. And always wear glasses. No matter how gentle it is, if this stuff, any stuff you spray gets in your eye, there's usually bad effects. The reason I have Kentucky bluegrass is for situations like this. I got all this clover, some of it kind of smothered areas out, so there's gonna be holes. But as this ginormous hole is showing, the circle was this big. But look at how the Kentucky bluegrass is filling in. There's another rhizome, rhizome, rhizome. These guys were all not here a month ago. I'll see if I can get a clip of the video to show. But you can see that one. Try to zoom in on the rhizomes. Look at that. So that plant right there is popping it out and filling it in. So I'm not gonna overseed this or plug it or anything because I'm seeing how quick it'll fill in such a big area. But that's why I do Kentucky bluegrass. Now for these edges, I'm gonna use the old-fashioned handheld type of spray and some cardboard or wood to prevent it from getting on those flowers. All right, so with one hand I got my wand. Now the spray that I'm using is Roundup for Lawns. It's labeled to kill clover. Personally, I would always use Ortho CCO for clover, but I'm a fan of using what you've got and not having 500,000 different chemicals out there, because this will also hit the other stuff around the yard. So as I'm doing the clover, I can hit the other stuff. And then in this hand, I'm gonna hold the bottle and a shovel. See if you can hopefully see this. So just like the ortho stuff, I'm gonna need to do that a couple times. I don't think I did that the last few times because I was focusing on the big areas, but I like the shovel idea, so it makes it a little bit easier. I was looking for something lightweight, so that actually worked out great. If you look at it, you can see it does have spray on it, so it did prevent spraying the weeds, spraying the flowers. So overall, it was a good thing. So there you go. The key here is to keep applying. I like to do personally weekly. I'll go around and kill weeds weekly, and that's just a good judgment. Some things will say 10 days. I just personally will go with weekly because that's how I can remember. I'll say, okay, Saturday is my lawn day. Keep going at it weekly and go from there. But you'll see it's all gonna die out and it'll be good to go. So I'm gonna do the rest of the yard. Peace. Pretty good whistling.
I support him 100%. No, you don't. I do.
What?
I don't know. I do.
I don't support that guy either.
If you like my videos, you'll love my website, grassdaddy.net. The lawn care planner tool will download the local weather reports every morning and build a lawn care plan catered to your area. The lawn care journal allows you to keep track of what you put down, when you put it down, so there's no more guessing or over or under applying any products. We also have a Lawn of the Week contest. Every week a winner gets a Grass Daddy t-shirt. And last but not least, there are application calculators and articles to help you identify and tackle problems in the lawn. So check it out. It's completely free. It's grassdaddy.net.